Which is great. Are you good?
Yep.
All right. It is 7:02 PM on Tuesday, July 26, 2022. We're going to open the administrative board meeting. We do roll call, please.
Yep, I have trustees Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot, William Lexinger,
Present.
Nathan Maz,
Here.
Jen Christensen,
Here.
Bill Motisi is absent, President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onavini.
Here.
I Clerk Sandy Mazem here, Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie,
Here.
Park Supervisor Nathan Hill,
Here.
and Attorney Mark Heinley.
Yes.
Bill did call and say he would not be attending this evening.
Okay,
All right. On the consent agenda this evening, we have two items, June 28, 2022 administrative board minutes and the bills payable warrant list dated July 26, 2022. It's for a total of $421,983.74. At this time, do any of the board members wish to remove either of the items? It'd be a whole lot faster, but
so you'd like to remove both of them from the consent agenda?
Never mind. Second.
That's not a
There-
motion.
there was not a motion.
Yeah.
But let's go do it. Let's
Would you
just
like
do it.
to ask-
No.
Would you
just
like to
do it.
remove them from the consent
Yes,
agenda?
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
there you
all
go.
right. Chris has asked to move both from the consent agenda, so we will take them individually.
Make a motion to approve the June 28, 2022 administrative board minutes.
Second.
Will makes a motion to approve the June 28, 2022 administrative board minutes. John seconds. Is there any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Make a motion to approve the bills payable warrant list dated July 26, 2022 in an amount of $421,983.74.
Second.
William makes a motion to approve the bills payable warrant list. Chris seconds. Is there any discussion on the bills payable or warrant list? That's money. Roll call, please.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill's absent, John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William.
Yes.
First motion passed 7:04. Second motion passed 7:05. We do not need item C. Move on to the officers. I have nothing this evening. So we'll move on to Sandy.
We'll discuss mine after closed session.
All right. Brenda?
In the board packet, you'll see have the revenue and expenditure report all updated with the budget numbers for the end of June. After the audit, you'll get that first sheet with all the account balances. Once they adjust the numbers from the one system to the other system, that could be another 3 or 4 weeks.
All right. Mark?
Yes. I have no general report. I think I'm gonna talk to you in a few minutes about, oh, I do actually. Ogle Crossing, uncompleted properties. I wasn't sure if this was saved for separately. So as I understand, I've got some pictures. There's 3 different lots in the subdivision that have open foundation, open basement, and have been sitting this way for years, I guess.
Yeah.
And so there are a few things that the village can do. It depends a little bit on what the goal is. If the cheapest thing to do, other than simply writing tickets, but the cheapest like active intervention would be to erect fencing around the property after sending out certain notices. You could attach a lien to each property for your cost of doing so. We actually did this for another local property. The address escapes me relatively recently. I don't know if you guys view that as a satisfactory outcome because behind the fence, you will still have open pits. So to the extent that that is, so that's the cheapest, easiest right to intervene where the property owner won't to prevent people from falling into the pits, for instance. If your actual goal is to have those foundations or basements or, however you phrase it, ripped out, filled in, graded so that you have empty grassy lots, there is a way to do that as well. The municipal code the state municipal code provides a procedure for not just dangerous and unsafe buildings, but demolition and some other remedies as well for open and uncompleted residential structures. This would certainly qualify. Now, that process does involve filing suit, going to court, getting a court order to demo. In this case, it would be, again, removal of the basement, grading the site, probably seeding it or whatever. And you would attach a high priority lien to that, foreclose on the underlying properties to get your money back. And the amount of money you get back is whatever, in both these scenarios, really, whatever the underlying value of that, the resultant vacant, unimproved parcels are. I don't really have any estimate of what that would be. Obviously, erecting a fence is relatively cheap. The cost of demo, a little hard for me to say. I generally advise clients that if you're taking down a single family home, you're looking at about 10,000 thereabouts. I don't really know, frankly, how that compares with the cost of ripping out a
How
basement.
many basements do we have? Three,
Three.
still the three?
Three. And by the way, although these are similarly situated, each, I mean, they go down parallel tracks,
Mhm.
but each is a separate action.
What did that last fence cost us?
The one
On
that,
Sunny Hill.
the one-
But they
hold
paid
on.
us.
The one on Autumn Wood, we just had to post the notice and then the homeowner did the fence.
Right.
So that was our most recent. And then the one on Sunny Hill that Jen did about 4 or 5 years ago now.
Sure.
I think we ended up paying about $300 or $400 a month in rental, but we recently had to get quotes for fences. And I believe he got a quote and it was gonna be like 3,500-ish just to put the fence up, not including the monthly rental.
Yes.
But we received our monies back, correct, from Sunny Hill, from,
We did get our money back in Sunny Hill because we leaned it, and so they paid off the lien. In this scenario, I don't know that these properties won't eventually end up in village possession anyway.
So, I mean, this is, depending where this is ultimately going, I mean, one, I don't know how, I don't have any, I have not reached out to the property owners, which I'm assuming are the developers. I don't know how participatory they are, if they're still around. I mean,
Through a family dispute.
okay, I mean, one option, if you're just looking for village control, if you want to short circuit some of this, maybe they wouldn't be opposed. Maybe you could offer them, an amount, to just have them deed the properties to you, at which point you could do whatever you wished with them. You could flip them, you could demo them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're open now for,
What'd I say, Mark? 2020,
I think 819, I think you
so
said.
years.
Yes. Okay.
So they're not safe.
And they
to build
won't,
on
they don't
anyway.
No.
return calls or accept.
Right, and I think when we discussed this before, the concern was mosquito havens and other things just besides the safety of our residents and children. It was the mosquito havens and some other stuff that was also a problem, correct? So,
Yeah.
that we were spending money to pump them out ourselves or something? No, we didn't do that?
No, I was not
Um,
given the authority to pump them out.
Right, well, it's not our property, so.
So wouldn't it make sense to take the least expensive way to put something around it? Then at that point, you can start a lien at that point for those costs, right? Doesn't matter what you do, you can start to lien it after you do it.
Yes, but of course, it depends on what you consider the problem to be. That wouldn't, you'd still have the open pits that would hold water at various times of year. To the extent that there was, pest problems, mosquito problems,
But I mean,
whatever.
to get the village to end up owning it, because even if we spent $10,000, 3 lots is worth more than $10,000 over there.
Is it though?
That's kind of the
We
problem.
tried to
What-
sell
what
one
are the value?
recently.
Well, that's gonna change.
No, the truth is, what is the value of the lot? Because apparently the basements are no longer in condition for construction to continue, so they'd have to kind of start over.
Well, what's the
What is-
homeowners
hard to believe.
association responsibility to this?
That the concrete's failed?
Yeah.
So those are the basements in which the previous developer had an unlicensed state plumber. And so the plumber then had to come back in and cut holes into the concrete basement structure in order to expose the plumbing to have proper inspections completed.
Well, what's the homeowners association's responsibilities for these basements?
I don't know that they have any.
Likely nothing, because they're almost certainly not commonly owned. The homeowner HOA would split costs if, I don't know, if there's a detention pond that requires maintenance or some sort of common ownership thing, but these unsold individual lots are probably still titled by the, in the name of the developer, so it's a private developer responsibility.
So the developer owns them and not a bank?
Yes, they are owned by a developer who is not developing in this area.
If in order to construct on these, it's going to actually require, before anything else happens, the excavate, the removal of the basement and grading the property, it is possible that the properties are worth, virtually less than, they're actually a liability to the owner. I haven't reached out, but maybe they would part with it and make this your problem happily at no cost. And maybe you wouldn't want that. I don't know. But that's probably where it's ultimately going if you're doing the work up front and recording a lien anyway. I mean, ultimately, the way that you're gonna recover on these liens, unless someone just happens to pay you, is you foreclose on the property and take title and then sell the property. So you only get back whatever the market will say those parcels are worth.
I'd like to know what it would cost to actually remove the basements and fill the holes before we make a decision which direction to go.
Is the village obligated to solve this problem?
No,
In a
No.
way.
There's
In a
no
way.
legal, so if somebody was to get hurt in those basements, they can in no way come back on the village?
no,
Okay. So that,
there's plenty of,
something to
I'm
consider
sorry, I
as well.
shouldn't be so flippant to elaborate a little bit. I mean, it is a privately.
It would cost us money to defend ourselves.
Privately owned hazard, you'd farm it out to insurance and it would get dismissed due to tort immunity initially, but you'd spend some money getting to that dismissal stage, or maybe your premiums would go
which
up.
would be less than we're gonna spend to acquire 3 basements, dismantle them and fill them in by
So what
by
do
a
we do?
long shot.
What do we do about mosquitoes and the tall grass and weeds in the meantime that we continue to deal with? And we already have a lien on the property for tall grass and weeds because we have to mow that ourselves, which takes 4 employees, 3 or 4 employees, almost half a day
The
because
last
they're
time we
not,
did it, I had everybody
Yeah.
out there.
they're not graded.
Honestly, a fence is just gonna make that worse for mowing.
Yes.
You've already got a lien on the property. You could foreclose immediately on the lien that you've already got.
Sounds good.
Yep.
But I don't know how much the lien is. I mean, if it's
It's like
$200, so
$500.
just happily.
Yeah,
pay-
it's like $500 or something.
If it's $500, they may well just pay it to make it go away.
Or they may just ask if we want it.
That might be-
The hard part's getting hold of them because none of their phone numbers work.
Well, maybe first we should find
Maybe they
out.
wouldn't even respond to that. We just get it anyway.
I have an address, I can show up at the door.
Maybe we should find out how much it costs to either remove the basement and fill it in, or, collapse it and fill it in, so that we have an idea how much it's gonna cost us to get rid
Well,
of
that's what
it.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know what it costs to pull the basements and fill them.
Fergie, can you get
Yes.
quotes for
You
that?
have to remove the concrete. You
Quotes
can't
for-
just
sorry, we
collapse
had
it in
I
and
know,
recover it.
I know you are.
If it's gonna have any type of resale, you probably don't
Quotes
want to.
for.
I
Removing
understand
the
that, but
basement
I'm not
from-
really interested in the resale value.
I mean, in theory, I guess you wouldn't have to, but
I agree. If we just fill them in though, you agree. with
yeah,
you.
you're
You look
kind
at
of
the-
defeating the whole purpose of longevity purpose anyways.
If you're interested in building a house there.
And you still gotta cut it, cap the plumbing and
I mean,
I'm assuming that
Hopefully
hasn't been done yet.
Well, that's okay. So yeah, it might be a little more involved than just getting quotes to rip it out because I believe electric might be run to it, gas run to it, everything else. So
There's no electric. I know there's no electric or gas because they hadn't gotten to that part of the plumbing.
okay,
or that
because
part of the
they've got
permitting.
panels up there, so I'd have to
Yeah.
confirm that there's nothing to them.
Yeah, I double check it, but they don't,
I mean,
they didn't get to that point.
I guess
yet.
we're gonna, if one house was $300-400 a month and we're looking at $3,500 to install it, and then even just double that for rental at $600-800 a month, it's not gonna take long to rack up a lot of expense. Whereas
But you could
if
leave.
for 10 grand, you can get all 3 done together and
The lien there.
collapsed and filled,
but then
I don't know what it costs.
I can make a couple calls.
I don't have the
Give up the property.
information to make that decision.
They just let it foreclose.
Would you also like me to work with Mark to see if the lien I previously filed is also maybe another point that we could go after?
I would
but
love that.
I'll send you whatever it is you need to confirm my lien and whether or not you think it's strong enough to stand.
Sure.
Value of the property.
Again, I agree with Mark. They would just say,
That's-
okay, they're yours.
They might. I mean,
they-
frequently what happens after when a party initiates foreclosure is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. They just say, hey, take it.
Especially if they're upside down on it.
They might be happy to
I believe it's going through a family dispute.
It's done. So the brother has acquired it unwillingly, which is why we are in the position that we're in, and no further development is intended to be on that lot.
Then why wouldn't he give it to us?
Mark,
He might.
Exactly, that's what I said. We reach out and say, we want to lean it, he's upside down on it, he may.
Right.
And then we can clean it up, make it safer.
Mark, once the village takes possession, then we are in a position to do something,
Yeah, I mean, then.
more
it's-
so than the way we are now.
Right now, because it's not your property, we have to jump through certain statutory hoops or procedural hoops and sending out notices and waiting and giving the owners some cracks at it first. And then when they don't, we have certain rights to intervene. Once you own it, like any other property, you can do anything.
No, but I mean, right now, we're under no obligation to do anything, but so we could let this resolve itself however it's gonna resolve. Once we own it, then we're more in a position of
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to fix the problem, whereas now we really don't have to fix the
And
problem.
while I agree with where you're headed, and
'Cause the
you
cost
as a
there is
board
just-
do not see the headache on the back end of that.
I know what the
us
mold
as-
house was, so I mean,
Us
we're
as,
still sitting on an Eden.
yeah, that's different though. That was a mold house. While you may not see what the work goes on the back end, we've obviously go out there and mow it quite often.
They mow it.
And we have to deal with the complaints of the neighbors. We have to deal with the mosquitoes that are now an issue because of the water in the basins. So it's more than just,
Do we have liens on this property already?
yes, I'm mowing.
I'm assuming if we're mowing,
Yeah, I'm mowing weeds on all of them.
But that's what we
I just don't want to
decided.
assume anything.
If it's worth the shot to try to foreclose on the small liens to see if
They're
it
gonna do
won't surrender
it.
the property.
You know, but the odds are we're never gonna get any money we put into it out of it.
No,
No, other
just want
than
everybody
the
to
service to the residents of safety, I mean.
Right.
No, I get that. And I get the fact that we would like to see houses there
Sure.
something anyway, right? And which I agree with. I'm just saying, it was like the one piece of property that we were trying that,
we still have it.
yes, I know. But what was the offer we got when we went to go sell it? It was nowhere near.
Yeah.
Right.
A third of what,
No,
we
but
may
that had a
spend on this, so.
full-blown house on it that had grown mold and had other issues.
I
whereas these are
understand.
just open
I just
basements.
still don't think that you're gonna get,
I agree with that,
Right.
but our cost difference aren't the same.
right. I get that too.
Yeah, the remediation, the other one was.
But if
Yeah.
you only get, if you get, somebody's offering you a couple $1,000s for it, then it's, you're never gonna
But,
get your.
I mean, what's going on with the other one, it's still in the works, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
well, we're
So-
gonna end up doing that one away.
Yeah, but I mean, I would be fine doing that with these three again, just to get people
That's
moving
my
in and,
point.
and,
Right.
and revenue back.
Just to have
you know.
houses
Yeah.
and people there, right? I
Yeah.
get it.
One final question, which is probably something you can answer, Mark.
Can you turn the mic towards you?
Yes.
Thank you.
With the water in two of the basements, since it's not our property, can I go on there and pump those basements? I'd like to get rid of the water instead of just throwing dunks in there for mosquitoes. I'd actually like to get rid of the reason that we would have to put the dunks in there. But am I allowed, is there any way that we can go on there and do that, or no, since it's not our property?
Standing water and ordinance.
No, there's not a way for you to do it, but if it sounds like it's under a particular specific person's ownership, if we can track him down, I'm not thinking that it would be very difficult to get him to say, yes, please.
Yeah, we
can't
can't
track
get a
them
hold
down.
of him. All three of
There
his
is no
numbers are no
way to
longer
get-
valid. It's
Well-
impossible. to get.
Well, step one of any kind of lawsuit or notice
Yeah.
procedure is going to be
Oh,
sending
you
notice
can
to
find him for service.
Okay.
You cannot find him for
conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine.
We mail
I
him
just-
letters all the time. They don't come back. I know he's.
So there's two answers. I mean, the short answer is, no, you don't have any particular right to go on private
Whatever.
properties. Unless it's an emergency situation. The other answer is, who on earth is going to complain? Do it.
Neighbor just plugs in and does it themselves. Leave them till now, or we prove the property for the purpose of public safety. Gotta imagine the smell.
Well, we mowed that
I've done it
yard.
before. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna give an address or
Well,
reason, but I've done it
We go on
before.
private property, to mow,
So-
but we have an ordinance against. Do we have anything in the ordinances against standing water?
Yes.
Then why couldn't we?
Because it's a safety.
I'm just saying, why couldn't we?
Well, even with mowing, no, I have to give notice. It's not something, we don't just go on and mow. I have to
But
give.
we-
certain
we can follow
notice.
the
Notice
steps.
again.
But we've had it with. homes
Right.
with-
We're going into pump water. It's gonna
Yeah,
cost
it-
you this much.
If you, I mean, I don't know what your code has to say about sending water. If it's a nuisance, we could send out a notice to abate and then wait
Yeah,
a
'cause we
week
had-
like we do for mowing or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
But if your question is, can I just go in there on a
Well, right,
Thursday?
no, yeah,
you have to
that's what I'm
know,
saying.
so.
It just,
As long as we got a rule against it, we should be able to take care of it and lean with it too.
thank you.
All right.
So it sounds like we'll get some costs of what the back end maintenance would look like. And then, I guess it's just a cost benefit analysis of what way you want to go. But
All
yeah.
right,
we
and
have
I'll
some-
send you my liens to see.
Sure.
Because they were from 1 or 2 owners ago, so we'll see.
Okay.
Mr. President, I have a question.
Go ahead, Glenda.
Is there any way, because of the health issue, you can get Ogle County Health Department to go after them?
They don't have the resources.
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Sandy.
They don't really have the resources for that. As long as it is not an imminent danger issue, they typically do not assist us.
But the Ogle County has found the one mosquito disease in Ogle County. Doesn't that make it an imminent danger?
No, especially since it's on the far side of the other end of the county.
Okay, thanks.
I do like your thought process though, but they just don't have the resources. They're a small health department that is staffed very minimally.
As long,
Okay.
as long as we're discussing houses.
Yeah, I got an update.
Yeah, all right, can we hear it?
Yes, give me 1 second. Let me pull up my email there.
Good. Thanks, take it out.
Mark, you have everything you need for that?
Yeah, it sounds
Before we
like
move
Sandy's
on.
gonna follow with some info.
Okay.
Sure.
No, you can move on.
Well, he's asking for the status of the 164 Autumnwood. And
Well, how long ago did it burn down?
January 25th.
All right,
So-
so it's already been past 6 months. and
So
they
this
haven't done
morning I
anything.
emailed him because I anticipated this question. I said, what's the status of this? If the village does not, or if this does not close shortly, the village will need to take action. He said, I completely understand. The contract is signed by both parties. They're ordering the title work and they're pushing for an August 8th close. I'm working with the lawyer to lock in the date and I'll let you know as soon as it's set in stone.
I just don't want them to keep pushing it off.
No,
Till winter comes and they can't
So
do it. anything,
Fergie and
we
I
sit
had
around.
that discussion this
Right.
morning, and so that's why I emailed him and I told him that the village is gonna have to take action soon if we don't hear from him. So I assume that if by this time next month, we still have nothing, that Mark's conversation with us will be, how do we move forward on that
All right,
one?
that'll work for me.
All right.
Are we good? All right, move to committees, community development events. Jen? Not
I don't really have anything other than starting to think and work towards the Halloween event.
All right, finance, William?
No, we do not.
Nothing.
Ordinance enforcement is absent. Parks, John?
I was gonna turn over to Nate for tonight. since he's out.
We got the information back from, oh, sorry, I don't know. We got the information back from Fergram to go out to bid, so for the pond project. And we're looking for approval to go out to bid to see what a contractor would charge to do the work. If there's any questions about it, we kind of summed it up the last meeting I was here, and if there's any other questions.
I make a motion to approve the engineering and letting for bid for the fishing pond improvements project at the Davis Junction Park.
Second.
William makes a motion to approve engineering letting bid for fishing pond improvements, Davis project, Davis Junction Park. John seconds. Is there any discussion? Money, roll call.
Bill's absent. John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
All right.
7:27.
I'd like to see how much
Thank
it
you,
costs.
Nate. That's all I have unless you have anything else.
Streets, Chris?
I've been discussing with Willett Hoffman, the fire station, sidewalk replacement. I don't know, the entrance to the fire station, which is their portion of it. The first estimate that we got was for, from Aaron Full from Willett Hoffman, that if we did it by ourselves, it would cost us around 55,000. If we did it with the fire station, it would cost us 34,000. So, we continued with the process and we've gotten, what is it technically called, Fergie? What he gave us?
The engineer's estimate.
So was the other one a guess? Is that what we're?
I can't speak to the engineers, but the project had not been, they basically not created the project.
But we gave them the parameters of what they were supposed
Yes,
to do. All right.
yes.
So the engineer's estimate that we got from Willett Hoffman and their new person in charge, Dale Hamilton, said $90,000 for our portion. So
Whoa.
so I emailed him and asked what's the discrepancy. While I understand that inflation has occurred and we wouldn't probably have the exact same price, I wouldn't expect it to be 200% higher. So he told me, he sent me an email back because it was just recently and he said, you know, I'll get it to you by the end of business today. And then I got an email today saying that he'd get it to me tomorrow. I need to know what the difference is before we move forward, but at some point, when he after he explains it, I actually would like it to go to bid to see what it's really going to cost us. Because my faith and confidence in Willett Hoffman's estimate is pretty low right at the moment.
So what you said, what was the original estimate? What did you say, 30?
34 with the fire department's
Right, right.
participation, 55 without.
Right, and now they say it's 90 is
Right.
gonna be,
We-
holy,
To be fair to Willett Hoffman, we did add
Right.
what I thought we discussed would have been $10,000 more to replace all of the pavement in front, you know, and it's not those two sections right there, instead of cutting and trying to splice them together. And we just do it all at one time, and it would be about $10,000 initially. Do you?
I believe it was something.
Yeah.
That way
Um,
everything there was new.
Right, which I don't want to come back and do it in a few years anyway,
Right.
so it's, to me, if it's only $10,000, you should do it, so. I expected it to be $10,000 more than what it was, and I expected that it would be somewhere between the two estimates, but once we knew the fire station was going to be on it, I expected it to be somewhere on the lower end of the
Mhm.
estimates.
When,
Right, it wasn't.
just recently, when they did the engineering plan for the water tank, wasn't it substantially higher than the bid that finally came back?
Typically, engineer estimates are a
So-
little bit more than.
So my
Yeah.
hope would be that this, being a new guy that's being very conservative and
Well,
And the market would
I want to
be
see what he has to say first, but
hopefully the
I
same.
would like it to end up going to bid just to see what it's
Yeah.
going to cost us.
that definitely. would
Right.
be.
So, you know, I guess we could do that at the next voting meeting.
So, need a motion?
Sure, if you would like that. Can you give me some information to put in the board packet?
Yeah,
though?
did he
No,
send? you? All
No,
right.
no,
all
nobody
right.
sends me.
I'll
anything.
forward you his, well,
Mhm.
I'll forward you either his estimate, that engineer's estimate that he gave me
Yeah,
for the
that's fine.
90,000 or whatever he provides me in the follow-up. But, we,
I'll probably put it in on the board packet for next week so that it can be on the consent agenda for the regular
that'll be 3 weeks from now. then,
2 weeks. So next week is a.
Right, and then we
committee?
skip a week.
No,
No,
then we have
that's-
regular.
Last week.
Yep,
It'll be the first 2 meetings of the month.
Oh, all right.
So I'll put it on the agenda for discussion next week, so it could go on the consent agenda the following.
Yeah, except for I won't be here the following week.
You don't have to be
All
here
right.
for it to be
All right.
approved.
All right. If somebody could, yeah, I'd appreciate that. But just to see what the real cost is, because I mean, I've had my issues with Willett Hoffman, but they basically aren't bad. But did they ever hang the door tags or notify the people?
They'll do that a couple of days in advance of the
Yeah, well,
micro.
they were on a couple of the streets today doing the grouting and the rest.
Right, they don't hang the door hangers for
I-
that.
And I didn't expect that, but I want to make sure that they actually tell the people who are living there, who are going to have the.
I already spoke with the project
All
manager.
right, and I just wanted to double check with that before we move forward. And anybody who watches the meetings, did they give you a tentative date or no?
They're looking at the beginning of next week.
Well, the areas are, what are the areas we're doing?
Prairie Moon Park, Lincoln, and Autumn Oak between the subdivisions, and then Golden Prairie, Red Fox.
All right, Sounds good.
If you want to obtain a copy of that door hanger, I'm happy to put it on social media with list.
I'm gonna have to wait till they come to hang them up. Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
We have a way of obtaining.
Yeah, if you
one.
could get one from
Yes.
Mike and then, so we can get,
Or-
I just want people to have notice.
Or
so
when it
that-
ends up at your house, can you send me a photo?
Yeah, if it does, I will definitely do that, because I want people to have notice beforehand so that they don't drive through it and, you know, aren't forced to drive through it or whatever. And they can make arrangements, especially on a dead end street, because you really have no options. Other than that, do you have anything, Bertie?
I do not. Thank
All
you.
right, then that's it for,
All right, utilities, Nathan.
All right.
Do you want to let them speak before you do?
Yeah, it's probably best if you would like to speak on your portion of it. Yeah.
I just asked that whoever's speaking use the microphone, because that's what my system gets recorded on.
I'm Michael Malley with Northern Illinois Disposal. I'm sure everybody's seen the proposal that I gave last month. We have well, the proposal was for $18.50 a home and 4% increase per year. We also have deliver 95-gallon trash totes and 65-gallon recycle carts. And that'd be at each home. There would be yard waste pickup weekly as well. Everybody could use their own cans. You just have to put an X on it. I think you might get it picked up like that now. Also, you could use the paper bags that you could purchase from like Menards or Home Depot. And also we'll have one bulk pickup per home per week. So that would be like a couch, chair, tables, whatever. And
sorry, I have a question on that, because when I was reading it, it said limited to 40 pounds. My couch weighs more than 40.
no,
Cut it in half.
we'll pick it up. We'll have a couple guys in town too, so they could split the difference on if they need help to pick something up, we'll get it picked up. They throw that in there for safety liability issues. Yeah. I mean, 40 pounds is pretty light. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couch that weighs twice that, 3 times that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, if it's extremely heavy where we can't pick it up, well, we'll let Sandy know or whatever. And,
The homeowner would let us know so that we can make arrangements.
yeah. So that would be every week they're allowed one bulk item. The limit would be contents of the cart for both services, for recycle and trash. Except for recycle, they'll be allowed to have a bundle of cardboard next to the cart on the ground. If they need extra carts, they would rent them from us for $36 annually per year. And also it would be a $60 delivery fee per cart, just a one-time delivery fee.
Out of curiosity, if somebody knew right away and when you're initially deliver, would that still cost you that $60 delivery fee?
Yes, because the extra carts would have to come from us the following week. Because it kind of mucks up the delivery process, because we actually have the cart rear end containers that be delivering the carts.
All right.
And that would be the week before the contract starts. Contracts, if we get it signed tonight, it would be October 1st would be the contract date. The trash day would be trash recycle would be moved to Thursday as well. It would change days just for routing purposes for us. Like I said, the carts would be delivered the week before. We would add literature to each cart. I'll get a copy of that to Sandy before that, so we could get it out to the people so they could see it actually before it's on the cart and put on social media or whatever, maybe add it to a water bill. We're going to do a $2,000 donation annually to the village to cover post-caught fees that were in the other contract before. And we'll also include all the dumpsters, the 6-yard dumpster at the park and the 4-yard at the village hall, and also the 2 95-gallon totes at the water treatment plant free of charge in the contract. The contract's 7 years. Like I said, a 4% increase. Every one of our trucks are a 2018 or newer. I think for the oldest one would be the recycle truck. And then we'd have 2 2021s in there coming in town. So they're all brand new. Also, we have 3 more There are more trucks coming this year or next year. They're supposed to be here this year, but you know, with the supply chain, we're trying to get them. The worst part's trying to get parts to fix trucks that we have now, but yeah, we have plenty of extra spare trucks, but our fleet's fairly new, so. Well, other than that, if you guys have any questions?
What do you do if there's contamination in the recycle bin?
Well,
What's your policy on handling?
we would sticker the can if it is, if it's extremely contaminated. Everything's automated, so it's kind of hard for us to tell until after it's dumped.
So it's in your bucket?
Yeah, so the next time what we would do, like the driver would, you know, recognize that and then check it before, you know, get out and actually check the can and sticker it if it's contaminated. And then we'd have to dump it as trash. So, but
So you sticker it and then still accept it as a trash then at that point?
yeah, we would sticker it and let the customer know that it's contaminated, and we'd dump it as long as the trash guy is, you know, still in the area, we would dump it. If it's, you know, we would come back the following week and pick it up if it's still there.
You want to define
Basically, I mean,
contamination for people that might be listening?
No, there was just some conversation about this in my meeting with the other one. So I just wanted to compare apples. So I'm sure they'll discuss all that later.
Okay.
yeah,
I forgot, and this is on me, that the village does have a garbage and recycling can at our water plant that only gets put out like once every couple weeks.
Yeah.
If that,
yeah, that's,
we just include that.
yeah, that's fine.
Is that the race car?
No, that one's already included. Those are the 295
No, Chris.
gallon ones. No, this is out at water over on Prairie Moon. I forgot because it only gets put out once a month, maybe? It's not very.
No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
if that-
It would just be just carts or are they regular
It's
cans?
just
I
cards.
don't know.
Okay, yeah, we could provide those too.
Mr. President,
That's
Madam
you.
Chairman,
thank you. Is garbage pickup and recycle pickup still on the same day? And are they still offering the senior citizen discount?
he would move to Thursdays
And
and I will defer to him for senior citizen.
the village actually covers the senior citizen discount. The waste management has not, or the previous people, our garbage companies have not provided that for years. That's
Okay,
a, yeah, that's a village board discussion.
What age did that start?
10 years.
We should lower that.
I'm gonna win that 800
No,
million
but we
tonight.
should, and to Glenda's point, at some future date when we discuss the annual fee ordinance, again, we do need to discuss the senior rate because that has not changed in all of these years where the cost of garbage services has. But that's for a different day.
So with the recycling, all I can think of is driving through the neighborhoods the first garbage day after Christmas
Mhm.
and knowing people cannot fit everything in there, like with boxes and stuff like that. I know you said you prefer to have them broken down and bundled.
Yeah, I mean, just think it'd be next, that would be the best way to do it, but we'll pick them up either way.
Okay.
But for holidays, we pick up extra trash anyway, so,
Okay,
I mean, yeah, I mean, if there's anything extra, we'll grab.
okay.
We do that for
Find
every
your biggest
village that we
box
do.
and put it out of
Well,
the
I just
bulk
know,
item.
like, you drive down the streets, like the
Two,
first
yeah.
garbage day after Christmas, and you got boxes after boxes and styrofoam sticking out everywhere, and it's can't keep it all in the container. I know, but I just, you know, I would, when I was reading everything, I was like, whoa,
Breaking down boxes.
well, I do that, but not everyone.
I think that's just the courtesy. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do too, but there's just some of them that aren't, some boxes aren't made that way.
That's true.
Floor is still yours, Dave.
All right.
Parks would like to ask a question.
Go ahead, Parks.
Do you guys provide special event garbage receptacles and or recycling receptacles at all? Do you have-
Yes, we could. I mean, that would just, if you guys contact us, we could do that.
I was just curious, 'cause
Yeah, we have like the cardboard little, like, I don't know, 60-gallon little cardboard boxes, so.
I know you hate when I get my loads in and I'm breaking everything down and just tossing it back there.
There's certain event, like 4th of July, for
Right.
example, it's a
Mhm.
huge event, and I mean, we pretty much handle it, but we have to pull every garbage can from the, just curious.
Yeah, we could get those, the event boxes, yeah, definitely.
I guess the only other question I would have is what do you think sets you guys apart from your competitors?
Well, I could say personally, just from all the contracts that I have, that we're extremely easy to get a hold of. That's one of the biggest things. Our customer service is, I think leaps and bounds above everybody else in the area. My phone's on 24 hours a day. Eric Kruski, my supervisor that was here last time, he takes calls all day and all night. You don't have to call the 800 number to get a hold of anybody, but they're available too. You could contact us on Facebook. I'm the one who actually runs the messenger. So, I don't know. I just think we do a better job than every other company in the area. So, and I think it shows. We've grown in the last 4 years. We've doubled our company. So, and we just keep getting more contracts. So.
Sounds good. Do you have anything else you want to touch on, or before I allow?
I just had a question.
Oh, wait,
Would our
where's mine?
trash be staying in Ogle County for the tipping fees, or would it be going to the Winnebago for theirs?
So some of the trash will go to Winnebago. A majority of the trash will go to Rochelle. And that's going to be our main focus, is to keep it there. Like I said, before we come to Davis Junction, we are picking up some trash outside the area. So it'll definitely be a full load going in there every time.
It does state that in our contract as
Yeah.
well.
I know,
That
but
they-
before it seemed we.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
it was in the
they added
contract,
it to the
was-
contract that make it a priority.
Yeah,
so
the preferred method
It would
is
be
to do a.
preferred Rochelle, but
Yep.
Winnebago,
And-
whatever, financially feasible.
Yes.
And to add to that, just for the county purpose, we're renegotiating our host fees right now with Ogle County, and we're going to be bringing in a lot more trash for the county. So they'll be making pretty good money. We're probably going to double our capacity at Rochelle Landform, maybe triple in the next few years. So, and we're also going to start doing that Ogle County recycling program for outside of town. We're going to start hauling that as well, basically at cost for the county.
But they haven't had that for a few years.
Yeah.
What?
All right. Any other questions?
For the other gentleman from Waste Management, I did forward that email to all the board members
Yes.
this morning, so
I did.
all
I
of
got
them
it. I
saw
received it.
the email about Waste Management. Okay, I think
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
if you
All
want
right,
to hang
thank
out a
you.
minute, I think they're gonna let.
Yep.
Okay, I appreciate it. My name is Dewey Overturf. I've been with the Advanced Disposal for 12 years. And then I ended up going Waste Management because of the acquisition we just went through. And being in the area and servicing out here, I've been acquainted with a lot of folks in the neighborhoods, and we've got folks that work for us that live here. And we're a neighbor. We're a neighbor to the village, and one of the things that sets us apart, and I appreciate the fact, he recognizes what sets them apart. We're the largest hauler there is. And the things that we set the standards in the industry, and we're growing even more every day. We're right now hiring even more people. We're staffed. We have plenty of people currently, but we have some more work we're bringing on. So we've got new trucks. We've got new trucks that are running in the village. And you folks got the paperwork that was submitted to you that explains our pricing and what we do and what we've done out here. One of the things I didn't hear about that I want to bring up is the cleanup. Cleanup is a big undertaking out here. And a lot of folks out here have a lot of stuff that they depend on us to move that. I don't know if that's part of what you guys have talked about or what's going on as down the road, but no, I haven't been in any of the discussions. This is new to me. I found out about it. And, I wish we could have talked a little bit sooner on some of this stuff, especially as long as we've done this. And, but whichever way you go, I hope, if something doesn't work out with us, hey, we'll always keep the door open. But I appreciate everything you guys have done and worked with us. So that's all I pretty much have. Is there any questions?
What is the reasoning why you would do recycling every other week?
For the pricing, and also the other thing we found out is in some of the other communities that we started doing it in, is that we're seeing it as less wear and tear on the streets as well.
One of the things in the contract states that they'll give an additional recycle bin, and I believe it was for free to start. So you get one, they're going to give us a larger one, and then you can also elect to have an additional one at no additional charge. for the every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you would have to put out
Right.
2 recycle
Well,
bins.
no, I mean,
but-
that.
Yeah,
you
but
mean-
you,
No.
You mean in the proposal?
yes, in the
Okay,
proposal,
you said
yes.
contract.
I'm sorry, in the
Oh.
proposal, it does have the opportunity to have an additional garbage can or recycle bin if so elected. You can have an also an additional garbage can for an additional fee. Or deposit or something.
Deposit on the
Deposit, yeah, the can
container.
fee.
Because they're
So-
$75 is what the.
Yep.
I might be wrong, but I vaguely recall, we had went to a weekly recycling and then when advanced was about 5 years ago, whatever, there was a change again. And I could have sworn it went back to bi-weekly, but you guys maintained the weekly pickup.
That's
But
correct.
in
We've
practice, I
maintained.
think It's only bi-weekly.
And the other thing with the recycling, to your point of what you were talking about earlier, we take recycle. The only thing that we have an issue with is with these boxes on some of the TVs that are
Right.
larger than 70-inch size. And we do try to break because they're hard to get in, but we do take all the recycling. We won't.
Oh,
we
yeah,
won't
I,
leave it.
you guys do take everything. So that's,
So, but
and I did read in that proposal of recycling drop off.
yes, ma'am. We also have a drop off out at the
I
landfill,
didn't, where is that at? I did not know that.
right down the road.
I don't think that I knew about that either.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah, what you're allowed to do weekly or
We
anytime
do
you
week-
want to, right?
Yeah, yeah. just
And
go
I
in.
think, I think when we discussed it, it became like if somebody was bringing tons
Stuff
of it
from
over
everywhere
there
else.
on a weekly basis or something that there would be a notification or some type of billing arrangement that have to be worked out in the future, but at least as a service, if we get a little stockpiled or Christmas with boxes and
Right,
things like that
that's-
nature, you would be able to do that ahead of
Yeah. I mean, we've been apart with you guys for a long time. This is why this is kind of, I mean, just caught us off guard. But I appreciate it. Like I said, everything, and see where it goes.
I'll be honest with you, your pricing was higher.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that, but that's one of the things that I try to explain about. Mr. Miles, we talked about why is that? Well, if you look at what's going on in the cost of the world, and I understand folks wanting to come in and start get into the community, but we've been here. And what we're looking at is the increase. I mean, I just increased, we're paying prevailing wage. And with what we're looking at with our folks, we're having to increase wages. We're having increase in expensive fuel and I mean, your highway department, you folks are seeing that increase too. When you're running a fleet like we're running and you put the miles on it and you divide it, how many times we come out in a week? I mean, in a month, in a week, divided by the weeks, when those trucks come out, it's expensive.
And I can appreciate that, except for I am the person who answers the phone when that resident who budgets calls. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have to explain it. We already had to explain the increase a few months ago. And so this was, that was my biggest concern is how many more residents are going to call? And then you're not the one who has to answer those. I do.
Yes, ma'am. No, I totally,
2 points that you said that just caught you off guard.
okay.
One, we've bid this before. Nobody's ever bid against Waste Management in Davis Junction.
Well, whether
We've
it's
never gotten,
Veolia-
we've never gotten a competitive bid, so there's been no other reason to call you in here, give a presentation.
We've been here.
Right. The second part is Waste Management made it explicitly clear to the Village of Davis Junction that the landfill operation is 100% separate from the residential hauling. We would prefer to keep everything together for
Yes,
the
sir.
landfill purposes, but Waste Management made it explicitly clear to us that it is a separate entity and that Waste Management will not treat the two services
And they
same
don't.
manner.
They don't. And I'm,
And so neither will we.
Well,
No.
that's how we always have.
no, I understand that, but we haven't all the way up to this
I
time.
Right.
We haven't. So the thing is, Rick, as far as us being in the area and doing what we have as far as the service, we're going to continue to grow, but that doesn't change who we are.
Well, like I said, so what William said, we had when it was BFI and then Onyx and then Veolia
Veolia.
and then
Advanced.
I started this in '05
Yes, sir.
and started trying to get bids. And literally, like you said, we couldn't get anybody to bid against it. Waste Management comes in, price jumps up high enough, we can actually get people to bid against it.
Sure.
So it's, yes, we have to look out, we have to look out for our residents.
Totally understand that.
That's what our bottom line comes down to.
I understand that.
One of the other things you touched on in your meeting was that they were very culture driven and people oriented is what I gathered from part of our meeting is one of the strong points to Waste Management. We discussed when we were with Vaughn from yourself, was the culture and the people that you felt that there was.
The safety
Correct me
culture.
if I'm wrong, but.
No,
You
absolutely.
you felt that there was, that you exceeded, the people that you hire are cut above the rest, I think is what I took from it.
So to come aboard our company, to be brought in, you go through a training. We send folks to Arizona to a school where they go through a process of training with safety. We do that. It takes 9 weeks before a new hire comes aboard. They go through a rigorous training and process. And one of the things, and the reason why we do that is because of the fact is that in our industry, it is one of the most dangerous industries there are in the communities, around the school zones, in the neighborhoods. And it's very important that those individuals that we hire are the right people for the job. And we, like I said, it's not easy to find those folks, but retaining the best is why we have to pay the best. So, and we're going to continue to do that because we've found that we get a better caliber of a person that wants to come aboard and follow the rules the way that we ask them to do it to be safe. And that's one of the things when we talked about as far as the safety part.
Vaughn also made it clear in our meeting that they're not in the business to be the cheapest. The services and the things that they offer are going to cause them to be a little bit higher than the competitor. That was our discussion when we had in the meeting.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure
No, I appreciate it.
I'm regurgitating the
Yeah, thank
information
you.
that's been given us.
And the last thing is, when you talk about customers being able to contact, you can't get all the call. We have 5 different ways and it's listed, 5 different ways for residents to reach out to the company.
And they are awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be blunt with you on that one. I told Vaughn flat. out,
Sure.
When I have to sit on hold for 10 minutes because they can't find our account,
Yep.
I have a problem. And so I actually no longer call the 800 number and I email Blake and Vaughn directly because that is unacceptable. that any
Absolutely.
Resident has to sit on hold that long.
It absolutely is, but what you're seeing is, and we started in the beginning of February, the customer experience, what they're doing is they're rolling it to the way, because the advanced disposal call center has now been disbanded and they're rolling it into the waste management call center. Those folks are going through that customer experience. And that's where, like, if not just a call, you can get through Facebook. There's 5 different ways that you can connect for them to reach back
And
to
the
you.
problem is that our contract is with us. And so then the person in the call center struggles to find the contract because the contract address is 106 North now, where the residence address may be something else. And so it has been a hot mess on that 800
Yes.
number. And I have told Vaughn already that I refuse to call that number anymore.
Sure, no, and I understand and don't do it, but there is the connection that's going on right now with that changing. That is in a big change, a
And
big
they should not have
process.
told us to use that as a number until that was an acceptable form of contact.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's all they had to change. They couldn't change the waste management, they advanced disposal.
And I get it, but it has not been a pleasant
No,
experience. on
just
800.
2 weeks ago when Sandy wasn't here, I tried 2 different ways, the messenger and being on hold forever. And the messenger just looped around to my question, like,
Well, I appreciate it.
yeah.
No,
I'm sure Bond's already debated.
Yeah. As a commercial provider with residential addresses, it is not user friendly.
So to keep yard waste, you divide that, I'm gonna basically break it out in annual cost. It's roughly gonna cost the residents $15.67 a month more with waste management than what the other quote is.
Because waste management is not included in the proposal or.
They didn't include yard waste in the proposal.
Yeah. yard
So it's an
waste is not
additional
in waste management.
170, what you said?
Yeah. I think it was
176.
176.
176.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's gonna be a little higher than that. That averages out to about 14.16 a month, just to break it down to monthly cost. So it's gonna be between $15.50, $16 a month, more to keep yard waste and have your recycling dropped every other week,
If you choose to.
if you choose to do it.
On my street alone, I would say about half of the people use that surface. So, I mean, there's a lot of yard waste that gets put out just from my across the street neighbor. So I couldn't
We have a
imagine
lot.
what their bill would increase
I'm the only
Yeah.
person.
on that. Or
I don't use it
what-
often.
What bonfire would be in their backyard to get rid of that instead. So, I mean,
And on my road, I think I'm the only person that does,
yeah.
It doesn't?
that
It
does.
Oh, I do occasionally.
How would that be, tracked? Would that be tracked at the village or how would you know? How would you know? The yard,
Trying to figure out.
somebody has service. Yep. How would you know if everybody? put it
Right,
out?
if-
How-
like
how
if-
would you know?
But if you don't
So,
use
you-
it every
okay,
week.
so then when you drive by,
And
then
so
they'll be
then
calling the
when-
village.
But then when they don't pay, then who's gonna pay?
Don't you guys have some
Is
type
that
of
about our
automated
bill?
system inside of
Yeah,
there?
automated third eye.
I think, right?
On the truck.
Okay.
It records the address and it records everything around, so what's going on in that truck.
Yeah, and I get that, but then when that person doesn't pay the bill for the waste services or for the yard waste services, are you then gonna come back to the village and be like, well, we've been picking it up, you need to
No,
pay
we
for
get stop-
it?
we stop service. They wouldn't be- they
But
wouldn't be allowed to service.
Would they have to sign up for that billing and pay for it directly to you? Not.
They would have to go direct. Wouldn't be-
I think
village wouldn't have to do that. Village would set it.
We need to.
And we have that in other areas where the village has, it's like a Twitter pays for some folks. Not everybody has to pay for it.
Somebody's talking without being in a microphone, because I can't hear them.
It's better.
I'm right here.
Is the green light on?
It might have been.
No, did my battery die? Yeah.
The little round button in the middle of the microphone.
The green. Hold on. No, you're good. Yep, the battery died.
Yeah, it's
So we're-
red.
Just start
Yeah,
over. from
we're
the
gonna-
beginning.
All right. Anything else anybody has?
Do you have a question, Linda?
Yeah, just for clarity's sake, are you going back to recycle every other week pickup and we're going to be charged extra for yard waste?
Hold on. So there are two people here from two different companies with two different proposals. The current gentleman that's speaking is from Waste Management. And his proposal is every yard waste every other week and then a charge, I'm sorry, recycling every other week and then a charge of $176 a year for yard waste.
They will also include an extra can for recycling if you so choose at no additional charge to make up for to make it so that way you can have enough room if you are a full can user weekly now.
Well, in my case, I have the great big huge recycling can and I only set it out about once a month when it's full.
I believe you can elect to have a smaller one if you need to, but wind wise, I don't know how great that would be. So
No, I don't wish to have a smaller one.
Any further questions? Still yours, Nathan.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's
All
it.
right.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
your
it.
time,
Thank
yeah.
you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike-
Microphone, yeah.
It's working again. Thank you.
All our trucks are equipped with third eye technology. We have cameras facing out front, inside, also in the hoppers of the trucks, and some of them have side cameras, so we could pull footage at any time too for like service discrepancies, or if anything happens, if there's any issue at all, we could actually pinpoint the exact time and date and pull that up to, I think, 6 months. So that's another thing that comes in handy too, when if you guys need anything.
Awesome. Thank you.
If you choose to make a motion, your resolution number is 24.
Oh, yeah, thanks, because it was a little empty over there.
It won.
That's because she has two above it. Right?
Yep.
All right. Well, I would like to make, does anyone else have any questions on the board?
We have
Thoughts?
discussion in between.
All right, yes. Or questions, I guess. All right. I make a motion to approve resolution number 22-24, did you say?
Yep.
A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the exclusion agreement between the Village of Davis Junction and RRD Holding Company for the collection, hauling, and disposal of municipal solid waste and recycled materials in the Village of Davis Junction.
Second.
There you go. Everybody jump in at once. All right. Nathan makes a motion to approve resolution number 22-24. Chris seconds. Is there any discussion on the resolution?
I actually do. For me, price is important because inflation and I have to, budget my household. But for me, recycling, I fill, and I have the smaller can, I easily fill that every week. So I just don't really want extra cans sitting out at my house and then only taking it out twice a week. So for me, that's a big point. Also, I put out yard waste. I could choose not to. I mean, really, I bag my stuff, but I don't really need to. But why would I want to pay $176 more for it? So
I agree with Chris on that one.
I have no issues with waste management or advanced disposal or whoever you want to say who has provided our service because it's changed over the years. I have no issue with their service. It was fine, but I think that for me, I'd like to try somebody and just see what their service is like and
It's a long try, 7 years.
well, that's true. It's a long try. It is also locks you in at a decent price for 7 years with what you know is how much you know it's gonna increase for.
And just so everybody's aware too, the contract has been reviewed by Mark, some additions made.
Sorry, that was all I have.
No, unless they're, the only provision is, there's some language in the contract that if governmental regulations change or certain operational costs change, they can come, bring those numbers to us, and there's an obligation to good faith negotiate on both sides a new acceptable rate. And if the parties cannot agree on what a new price would be, then either side can give a 90 days notice to terminate. Other than that, short of just a straight breach of contract, there's no general out. If we stop paying them or, they stop collecting or some, significant breach that wasn't cured, then each side could get up.
Is this something that we have to vote on tonight?
Um,
At this point, we have a motion and a second. We're in discussion. We
Well,
have to do
that's
something
why,
unless he
I
withdraws-
guess,
Unless he withdraws it
well, I guess for me, I kind of would like to
or we're table it.
work some more with these numbers.
so the longer that we don't have a contract.
Right.
The longer it will get to start a new contract. Mike has already said that based upon this, we would not have a contract that starts till
Right.
October 1st.
Right.
Because they have to order cans. I am uncomfortable with not having a contract. But you are clearly the board.
What's that? I'm not comfortable voting right now, so.
As a resident, I'm not comfortable with the extra charge for yard waste.
As a person who puts out 2 65-gallon totes of recycling every week, I don't have an interest in putting 4 out.
Let's just vote. See,
Well.
I understand your.
Unless
I
it's
understand
tabled
your
or unless it's
hesitation.
withdrawn, we're gonna
I don't
vote.
like change.
Cat.
You can't have it both ways.
Normally I would be kind of a stay with the creature you know already type person, but I haven't heard a single bad thing from any other village recently, or obviously the county is starting to go with, another option too. So these are things that I don't know, kind of weighing on my decision. So, and obviously as a resident, the cost savings is always a benefit. So for the same service or what I deem going forward as being a better service or more options.
For me, the yard waste is the issue. I use the yard waste and be having it included saves me 14 some odd dollars. I don't recycle.
All right.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Bill is absent, Jen.
I'm gonna abstain.
Motion passes 806.
A few minutes.
Thank you both.
Anything further,
Yeah,
Nathan?
you too. That concludes me, I
All
believe.
right.
Thank you, Nate, for all that.
Anyone have anything on economic development?
When's Godfather's Pizza? What are their hours? Are they online? Can you order on the app?
No,
You cannot, they're
I
open
know
till
you-
11, trust me, I know.
You can't order on the app. I know that.
no.
I Haven't been there yet.
It's delicious.
I drove by it once. I don't go that direction anymore.
Good.
Public?
No.
I don't have anything.
We're good.
I make a motion to go into closed session 2C21, discussion of the minutes of meetings lawfully closed under this act, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as amended by section 2.06 and or section 2C5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired.
Just for a few minutes.
Yep,
We're gonna kick you out for a few
yep,
minutes.
Hold on, I'm actually gonna take care of you before he leaves. Sorry. You have a second?
You told him to wait.
No, like, he's not, I'm gonna follow him out. We're on a
We do
break.
not have a second yet.
Second.
Let us run the meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Would you like a roll call?
We haven't got a second
I
yet.
second.
Yeah, John
Oh,
just did.
John second. All right, so William makes a motion to go into closed session or
Running the meeting.
section 2C21, 2C5. And John seconds. Roll call.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill is absent, John,
Yes.
Nathan.
Yes.
What time is it? 8:09? All right, Glendale, after this one, when we're done with closed session.
Danny's gonna motion to reconvene open session.
John makes a motion to reconvene open session. Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're back in open session at 8:24. We have no action on closed session items.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
William makes motion to adjourn.
Somebody's.
The tag team makes it
Which one? Pick one.
Chris
Thank you.
seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're adjourned at 8:24 also.
Thanks for coming.